Welcome, dear listener, to a journey of betrayal, despair, revenge, and ultimate redemption. Today, we dive into one of the greatest masterpieces of all time, The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. This is not merely a story, it's an experience, a sweeping tale of fate and justice that will carry you from the prisons of Marseilles to the glittering salons of Paris, from the depths of despair to the triumph of vengeance. Edmond Dantès, A Life Full of Promise. Our tale begins in 1850 in the bustling port of Marseilles. A young sailor, Edmond Dantès, returns home after aboard the ship Pharaon. Only 19, Edmond has already earned the admiration of his crew and the trust of his employer. Monsieur Morel, the ship's owner, intends to make him captain. And there is more. Edmond is engaged to Mercedes, a beautiful Catalan woman he adores. Their wedding day is near. His future shines with promise, success, love, honor. What could possibly go wrong? But happiness, my friends, often invites envy. The seeds of betrayal. Three men consumed by jealousy, plots Edmond's downfall. Danglars, the ship's purser, envies Edmond's rapid rise to captaincy. Fernand Mondego, Mercedes' cousin, desires her love and cannot bear to lose her to Edmond. Caderousse, a so-called friend, envies Edmond's good fortune and wealth. Together, they draft a false letter accusing Edmond of treason. At first, this cruel plan seemed like nothing but mischief. Yet, destiny takes it further. The arrest and condemnation. On the very day of the arrest and condemnation. On the very day of his wedding feast, Edmond is arrested. He is accused of carrying a letter from Napoleon Bonaparte, who has escaped exile and threatens the monarchy of France. Though Edmond is innocent, he carried the letter only as a duty to his dying captain. His fate lies in the hands of Gerard de Villefort, a young and ambitious deputy prosecutor. Villefort realizes the letter is addressed to his own father, a Bonapartist sympathizer. If revealed, the secret would destroy Villefort's career. To protect himself, Villefort condemns Edmond to prison. No trial, no defense, no mercy. And so, in one night, Edmond Dantès loses everything: his freedom, his future, his beloved Mercedes. The chateau. Edmond is sent to the dreaded chateau, a fortress prison on an island off the coast of Marseilles. It's a living grave for political prisoners, a place where hope dies. The years pass. Edmond, once so full of life, is consumed by despair. He rages against his fate, against God, against the injustice of man. Alone in his cell, he begins to believe he will die forgotten. But fate has one more twist. The Abbe Faria, Edmond hears a sound, digging through the walls. He meets Abbe Faria, an elderly Italian priest imprisoned for his political beliefs. To the guards, Faria is a madman. To Edmond, he becomes a teacher, a father, a friend. Over the years, Faria educates Edmond in languages, philosophy, science, history, and strategy. Edmond transforms from a simple sailor into a man of profound knowledge and wisdom. More importantly, Faria reveals a secret: the location of a hidden treasure on the island of Monte Cristo, a fortune beyond imagination. But before they can escape together, Faria dies in his cell. With his last breath, he entrusts Edmond with knowledge of the treasure. The escape and rebirth. Edmond seizes his chance. When Faria's body is sewn into a burial sack, Edmond takes his place. Carried by guards to the sea, he is thrown into the waves. He breaks free, gasping for air, reborn from the waters like a new man. For 14 years he has been a prisoner. Now he is free. Guided by Faria's instructions, Edmond finds the treasure of Monte Cristo: gold, jewels, priceless riches behind imagination. Guided by Faria's instructions, Edmond finds the treasure of Monte Cristo: gold, jewels, priceless riches beyond imagination. With this wealth, he can become anyone. Edmond Dantès is gone. In his place rises a mysterious, powerful figure, the Count of Monte Cristo. The return as a phantom of justice. Years later, Parisian society whispers of a strange nobleman, immensely wealthy, impossibly wise, and frighteningly enigmatic. The Count of Monte Cristo appears in saloons and palaces, dazzling all with his wealth and charm. None recognize him as Edmond Dantès. But beneath the masks and disguises, one purpose drives him: revenge. The Count rewards the good and punishes the wicked, weaving his enemies into a web of destruction. Danglars, who betrayed Edmond out of envy, becomes a wealthy banker. The Count manipulates him until his greed consumes him, leaving him bankrupt and ruined. Fernand Mondego, who married Mercedes after Edmond's imprisonment, rises as a powerful nobleman, but the Count reveals Fernand's darkest crimes: his treachery as a soldier, his cowardice, his lies. Disgraced and abandoned, Fernand ends his life in despair. Villefort, the prosecutor who condemned Edmond, hides a secret life of corruption and sin. The Count exposes his family's scandals, leading to madness and ruin. One by one, his enemies fall, not by the Count's hand directly, but by their own corruption, drawn into the traps he carefully sets. The shadows of revenge. Yet as the Count's vengeance unfolds, he begins to see its costs. The shadows of revenge. Yet as the Count's vengeance unfolds, he begins to see its costs. Innocent lives are touched by his plans. The sins of the guilty spill onto their children, their families. He begins to question: has he become justice, or merely another instrument of cruelty? In his relentless pursuit of vengeance, Edmond almost loses the humanity that Abba Faria had restored in him. But fate gives him another chance. The love and goodness he sees in those who remain pure, such as Maximilian Morin, the son of a kind shipowner who once believed in him. Redemption and resolution. At last, Edmond realizes that vengeance alone cannot bring peace. Justice without mercy is empty. He chooses forgiveness, love, and renewal. He spares the innocent, allows the young to live and love freely, and steps away from the endless sick cycle of hatreds. In the end, Edmond Dantès, once betrayed and broken, finds redemption not in wealth or revenge, but in the rediscovery of his own humanity. A story for us all. Dear listener, The Count of Monte Cristo is more than a novel. It's a mirror held up to the human soul. It asks, what would you do if you lost everything? If betrayal stole your life? Would you seek revenge or forgiveness? Would you seek revenge or forgiveness? Through Edmond's journey, we see that hope can be reborn even in the darkest prison, that knowledge and perseverance can transform despair into strength, and that true justice is tempered with mercy. So, if this story has captured your imagination, if you feel the heartbeat of Edmond's struggle within your own chest, then stay with this channel. Subscribe now, because here we bring you stories that are not only told, but lived. This is not the end, but only the beginning of the adventures awaiting you. The Count of Monte Cristo will remain with you long after this tale is done, just as it has remained with readers for nearly 2 centuries. Would you seek revenge or forgiveness? Through Edmond's journey, we see that hope can be reborn even in the darkest prison, that knowledge and perseverance can transform despair into strength, and that true justice is tempered with mercy. So, if this story has captured your imagination, if you feel the heartbeat of Edmond's struggle within your own chest, then stay with this channel. Subscribe now, because here we bring you stories that are not only told, but lived. This is not the end, but only the beginning of the adventures awaiting you. The Count of Monte Cristo will remain with you long after this tale is done, just as it has remained with readers for nearly 2 centuries.